Welcome back to the Mic Check Podcast. This is your host, Q. We are back in the building with another episode of the Mic Check Podcast, where today we are going to be talking about the heavyweight division, a division that has been somewhat at sleep the last few months in the boxing game. A lot of people have been demanding, where are the heavyweights? So today is a good day to talk about the heavyweight division because two of the bigger fights that are going to happen this year in that division were announced officially with press conferences this morning. So the first fight we're going to talk about is going to be the Anthony Joshua versus Dillian Whyte fight, which is announced and going to be happening on August 12th at the O2 Arena in London. This is going to be the second fight between Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte. Both of these guys have fought previously back in 2015. Now, these guys do share a lot of similarities in a lot of different ways, not necessarily from a stylistic standpoint or even from an accomplishment standpoint, but definitely share some similarities in where their careers stand currently. AJ is currently 25-3 with 22 knockouts, while Dillian Whyte also has 3 losses with 29 wins, and 19 of his wins came by knockout. Both of these, ironically, have switched trainers recently and are going into their second fight with new trainers. Both guys also are using American trainers at that. So this is the first time that both of these guys have used American-based trainers. Both guys are training here in America, even though they typically have been previously based out of the UK and in Europe, in Dillian Whyte's case. One of the more unique things about this fight is that while these guys both know each other fairly well because they fought once before as professionals, they also fought once previous to that as amateurs. Dillian Whyte did win the first fight as amateurs, and then Anthony Joshua avenged that loss in the pro ranks, defeating Dillian Whyte back in 2015, in December of 2015, by a 7th round TKO stoppage. Both of these guys are in a position where their careers are kind of in the balance as far as being able to contend for world titles. Obviously, we know that Alexander Usyk previously beat Anthony Joshua in back-to-back outings in late 2022 as well as in late 2021. So he's looking to get back to that top shelf. And then previously, Dillian Whyte, before his last victory, lost in his world title challenge against Tyson Fury for the WBC title in the spring of 2022. So both of these guys are in a position where they're trying to get back into the swing of things at the top of the sport, at the top of the division. And obviously these two guys do not like each other. They've been rivals for a long time. They came up in the same ranks. They're both London-born guys, or excuse me, not London-born, but based in London, grew up in London. So this is a fight that's going to not only be for bragging rights because it's the third and final fight of their rivalry, so to speak, but obviously this is going to be a huge benefit to the winner because it looks like whoever wins this fight is going to be able to move on and then try to re-challenge for those titles that are held under Usyk as well as Tyson Fury. It's a unique perspective to really look at because I think that while a lot of people were not convinced that the fight was going to happen because there were so many issues in negotiations with rematch clauses coming from Matchroom and AJ's team to possibly money negotiations of what Dillian Whyte did demand for the fight to happen. Ultimately, they were able to get this fight across the line, and it is going to be a big fight on DAZN pay-per-view in the UK and Ireland. But as American fans here in the States, we're going to be able to see this fight at no additional cost as long as you have a DAZN subscription. So getting to see Anthony Joshua, a guy who's one of the bigger names in the sport, continue to try to rise up again and go for another world title without having to pay anything extra, I think, and I believe is well worth the money. Now, what's going to happen in this fight is really the question that we're all here to find out. And since you're here and you'd like to know what I think my personal opinion is that this is a fight where Anthony Joshua has to establish dominance and the aggressiveness that he was known for earlier in his career, but doing it in an educated way. He's now with Derek James, while Dillian Whyte is being trained by Buddy McGirt. So both of these guys have excellent trainers, and both trainers are former fighters. In Buddy McGirt's case, he's a former world title holder. So plenty of experience in the boxing game on both ends from a coaching perspective. But honestly, I just think that Anthony Joshua is closer to his prime at this moment than Dillian Whyte is. But you never know because Dillian Whyte is a power puncher. He's a catch and counter left hooker. He's knocked out many people with that, including Derek Chisora. He's hurt Joseph Parker and other quality, well-known guys with that left hook. So that's obviously something Anthony Joshua is going to have to be aware of, because he was hurt with that punch in their last fight. In 2015, he staggered Joshua. I believe it was in the third round. Joshua had some success in the first 2 rounds, but ultimately got caught. He was able to survive that third round and then went on to stop Dillian Whyte in the 7th. So for me, it really is a fight that should favor Anthony Joshua because of his elite athleticism. He's going to have the size advantage from a height and reach perspective. And as long as he's able to keep Dillian Whyte at arm's reach and using straight shots that Derek James loves to teach, using an educated jab, I would favor him in this fight because I feel like he's closer to his prime still. He's a guy that's going to be able to do a lot of other things in the ring defensively. He has the better feet in this fight. And I just think overall he can do more things in the ring, which will lead him, I believe, to a victory. T and I are going to talk about this fight a little bit more as we get closer to it. But obviously that's where that stands now.